Happy morning to all of you. Today we are all gathered here for the wonderful session on transforming contact centers with generative AI by our guest speaker, Mr. M.K.
Recording in
Kumaresan.
progress.
By our guest speaker, Mr. M.K. Kumaresan, Cloud Architect, Google. I am very happy to be part of this session. On behalf of RMK CET and on my own behalf, my heartfelt welcome to Mr. M.K. Kumaresan, Cloud Architect, Google, for his wonderful session today. Welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our Professor Dr. M. Vijitsan Prem for his support and guidance for this program. Welcome you, sir. In absentia, I would like to welcome our beloved Principal Dr. K. Raman for his motivation and encouragement in all aspects for us. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our Dean Research, Dr. K. Shivaram, in absentia for this session. Because sir is in abroad, so today not able to join the session. Next, I would like to welcome coordinators of this session, Dr. N.R. Rajinpal and Dr. N.P. Ponuji ma'am for his support and cooperation towards this session. Welcome, sir and ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Next, I would like to welcome our faculty participants and student participants from RMK group of institutions for this session. I hope this session will be very informative. So it's very interesting also. So before the end of the session, we'll have the query session. So those who have any queries, kindly share it in the chat box. So sir is able to answer your all the queries. I hope all of you enjoy the session. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. N.R. Rajinpal, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, RMK CET, to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. M.K. Kumaresan. Sir?
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Generic Talk Series 2, Transforming Contact Centers with Generative AI. It is truly an honor and privilege to introduce our distinguished guest, speaker for the today, Mr. Kumaresan, working as a cloud architect at Google. Mr. Kumaresan is a seasoned cloud architect and conversational AI expert, deeply dedicated to driving digital transformation. He is known for his strategic planning, client engagement, and team leadership, ensuring the seamless implementation of AI-driven solution. With an impressive 13-year track record in industry, he has honed his skill at renowned companies such as Google, Cisco, and Capgemini. Kumaresan proficiency spans networking, cloud computing, and machine learning, all backed by a postgraduate degree from BITS Pilani. Beyond his technical expertise, he is an enthusiastic public speaker and a community leader, boasting a rich portfolio of over 80 workshops and speeches. The prolific writer Kumaresan has authorized numerous blogs and technical papers. He is actively contributing the tech communities in Chennai. Let us give a warm welcome to Mr. Kumaresan. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now invite our speaker, Mr. M.K. Kumaresan, to take over the session. Please, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for the warm welcome, and it is my pleasure to be here. Today is Generic Talk Series 2. So before I start the session, so could you please, enable the screen share option for me, Regine Paul, sir, so that I can share my presentation. Yeah, till the time we start sharing the session, so I don't want to waste your precious time. I know this is the Sunday, and Sunday morning you all here. Yeah, thank you, I got it. Yeah, I hope you are all able to see my screen as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So this is the topic for today. So transforming contact center with the generative AI. So before we get into more details about transforming contact center about generative AI, let's go in a slow phase and understand what does it mean by. First, let's demystify the title. What is transforming contact center with generative AI? I know most of you first time seeing these terms like contact center or a generative AI, because contact center is little differ from a call center, and generative AI might be you all hearing very often in today's world. What are the magic generative AI is doing? And so it will be more interesting. Generative AI can able to do lot many use cases in industry. So I picked one industry, that is a contact center industry, which is very close to everybody, every consumer. Be like you and me, or at least sometime use the call center or contact center for any support case. Maybe a online e-commerce website or a mobile provider's contact center. So considering the fact we are a consumer, we familiar with that. Let me just take it forward today's session. So this one slide is completely self-explanatory. Looking at the slide, you could able to understand so what is happening around today in this world. The fastest things on world, not cheetah, not aeroplane, not speed of the light. More than that, now AI is becoming so hot and people are becoming experts in AI. So today let's understand the basics of generative AI and try to see how we can adopt or implement the generative AI use case into the contact center industry. This is the context. Yeah, little about me. Was given the clear explanation from Sir, and 13 years experience in industry, worked in 3 different organizations. So one thing I wanted to add it here, throughout my experience, starting from Capgemini to Cisco to Google, you could see down the conversation, which is something comes along with me. Yes, I started as a networking engineer at Capgemini, where I used to deal with packet communication on TCP and OSI layer. Then when I moved to Cisco as a networking leader, where I used to deal with the real-time communication when the real humans are communicating what is happening on the background on the cloud world. Now, today's role, the current role, what I'm doing at Google, it's more about doing a conversation with the machines, machine learning, artificial intelligence, generative enabled bot. So this is what my career span. So all about the conversation and communication, starting from packet to starting to a machine now. So this is the agenda, very basic and little agenda for you to digest. Quick introduction about the topic what we're discussing today. And generative AI. I know generative AI is very frequently used buzzword. You might be having a lot of experience, or you might have studied an online portal or a college to understand what generative AI. But generative AI, why it becomes so popular? How it is making the revolution at the industry? So, what are the benefits if you consider any business or industry use case that we discuss? So, before we get into more deep dive into generative AI, I'll start with ABC. As we know, what does mean by ABC? So anything when we start with English, if you want to write a poetry today, somehow we need to start from alphabets. A for, B for, C for, then we'll start write the words, sentences, paragraphs, essays. Then end you could able to write the poetry. When you wanted to understand today's technology, what is happening with respect to generative AI, first we need to step back and understand what is that foundation ABC. The next one is cloud AI portfolio. So you might have heard cloud computing or artificial intelligence, two different technology. Now in today's world, how these two are combining together and making the magic happen at every industry that we discuss. Then fifth is, though the generative AI we discuss the foundation and how what is the magic with the cloud, then we'll take one specific industry use case, that is a contact center, which is very familiar to everyone, and we'll see what this generative AI is going to transform the contact center from yesterday to today. That's all for the discussion. Now, this slide doesn't need more explanation. This is completely self-explanatory. What we expect in customer care. Generally, when we struck with something, be with a mobile phone, something like my outgoing is not working, or you ordered something at online e-commerce website, the delivery did not happen on the scheduled arrival. What generally we used to do, we used to dial the customer care and we used to talk to the customer care, and we expect this resolution has to happen very immediately. So we always like the happy customer as well as the agent who sits in the customer care also be happy to serve you. This is the way we expect every time. But ideally, not the way it happens. When the moment you call the customer care, not every time you get a resolution very fast. You may get asked by the repetitive question, or even you if you share the information, the person who is talking to you, he may not be having that skill. He may not be the experienced agent at call center who could not able to solve your problem. Again, he may put your call on a hold, and he will ask you, okay, you came for a wrong queue, I'll route to the different queue, or I'll escalate from a prepaid to postpaid, or I'll escalate to a team leader. Then you need to wait for a long time. But the end, if you get to the resolution or not, it's a question mark. This is the actual scenario for any call center use case if you take. Now, our discussion is today pretty simple. From there to here, from yelling the customer care with a bad experience to here how you can be happy as a customer, and also how you can make the agent as the industry happy when he serves or when he or she shows to you. This is a magic what generative AI is going to do. So now, what is this generative AI? What is the big deal? So
Generative AI, generative AI, generative AI, AI is AI, 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 AI. It uses AI to bring AI, 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 AI.
you might
AI.
you might have heard this 15-second clip which is captured from last year's May 2023 Google's I/O conference. The Google CEO he used AI multiple times during this presentation. So that much it is impacting the
AI,
entire
AI,
world.
AI.
How the world is getting completely resonated with the AI. So before we get into the artificial intelligence or a generative AI, where we started, let's go back and see. So we are into the fourth revolution. We could see we are into IoT, we are into a machine learning, we are into a deep learning, neural networks. We used to always call it as. But when we come across all the four resolution, yeah, we started the revolution from 1700s when the steam engine got invented. So it completely changed the way we do agriculture, the connectivity from rural place to urban places. Then move to the second industry revolution when the electricity invented with the power of telephone, light bulb, aeroplane, all the devices completely changed the human life. In that revolution, the computer and internet, as we all know, we all have witnessed that revolution, right? What is a transformation it made in our life? We cannot imagine a day without a mobile or a laptop or a computer, without a Wi-Fi or without the internet today. We cannot even imagine a day without a WhatsApp or Google search. So that way, the technology has become so close to us. That is the third revolution. And fourth revolution, it's more about the artificial intelligence, the neural networks, the generative AI, the machine learning. What we are making to do here, we are making to reduce our work, and we are making to machine to do our work. So then we become more productive. It is going to be completely embedded with our society and culture. So we are into the fourth revolution. So in fourth revolution, this artificial intelligence is a very primary role it is playing. So that is what is very important. Now let's see in the business side. So before we get into the technical more details, why it is important. It's not generative AI is very important for you and me. It's not only we both talking about generative AI. All over the globe, all over the leadership, they are emphasizing to use or incorporate a generative AI to their use case. A quick question to think: what is the business forecasted value globally per year by using generative AI? Any guess? You might have guessed some value. Let me just go and tell you the answer. By using the generative AI in business for non-IT use cases. Please note down, it is non-IT use cases. We could able to generate the revenue of 2.6 trillion to 4.4 trillion. So 4.4 trillion, literally it is more than India's the complete GDP in 2023-24 year. So India's GDP is something around 3.78 trillion. So that is a way the generative AI is going to make a revenue in all the industries. If you consider IT also into the industry, it will be double or triple the numbers. And also it is going to change the 80% of the job in the industry, the way how it is happening yesterday and how it is happening today. And down the line after 5 years or 10 years, if you look into the any use cases, the way it is going to happen is completely different. So that is the chart. It says it is impacting all the industries. As you said, it's not something like we are going to lose a job. It's something, it is revolutionizing the job. So we will be more productive and will be making many things in advance. For example, rather than software engineer restricted to type only coding, now he has more bandwidth to think about the product features. By using product feature, he can use a product in a very good way, and he can be a product manager. I'll come to the explanation or use case in a short. This generative AI is shifting the complete automation a decade preponed from 2040 what expected, but it has completely moved to 2030. So this is very important because every industry is trying to become a digital industry, digitalization, which is happening, especially after pandemic. We could able to realize that how much impact the technology in the real world, and how people started working remotely, how you started learning online, how you started doing exams online, doing assignments online, and upskilling yourself online. Everything has become completely changed. And if you consider the industry also, the projected year was 2040 for the complete automation, the 50% automation. Now with the power of generative AI, it is happening very fast. The target which has been fixed for 2040 has been moved 2030, a decade back, for the complete automation. Our use case today, what we are going to discuss about automating or transforming or supercharging a contact center, also one of the best use case, which is widely used for a generative AI. And generative AI within 2 to 5 years, it has reached the peak of the hype cycle as per the report from a Gartner. All over generative AI. I'm just giving the glance. So generative AI. So as you know, you might have met your new friend like a Google Bard or a Gemini or a Chat GPT. So after interacting with these chatbots, you might have experienced something. Yeah, you are so productive. It is making your life easy. You are getting answer for all your questions. This is for a consumer use case, as an individual use case. But how this generative AI is going to make an impact in the industry, how this generative AI is going to make an impact in the business. To answer that question, we should good to know about these little statistics. Expected revenue, the automation target, and the hyper cycle. These all happening around with the power of generative AI. Now, now let's go a little technical and understand what do you mean by generative AI. Because of course, I'm sure you all might be studied about generative AI, I mean AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, I'll touch upon. But generative AI, that might be a new term. See, we are hearing maybe like last 1 year or 2 year, could be. So what does the generative AI? So before we go into a quantum computing or advanced supercomputer, let's start from a calculator. How the calculator works. So packet calculator, what we use to add two numbers or subtract two numbers. The simple question here is, what do you think? Is that artificial intelligence enabled device or just a device? I'll give a pause. Just think for a moment. Calculator is a AI device or not? That's a question. Yeah, you might be thinking right. This is not AI. Because when I wanted to differentiate anything from AI, could be The calculator, you already defined some algorithm, already defined some logic and programs, says that if I do two numbers and do a plus symbol, it has to sum two numbers and give a output. So the computer program has been already made. You are giving data, data is getting applied on a program and giving output. Whereas in the artificial intelligence, no, you are not specifically programming everything. You are giving a huge amount of data to a computer itself understand the pattern, understand the logic, and it has its own logic and program in his mind. When you give data and when you give output or ask the computer to create an output, it applies its own program and gives output for you. That's the way you can differentiate earlier computer program and the artificial intelligence. You're not necessarily specifically programmed to a computer to create an output. And this is one of the practical slide I just added for you to remember. So hope the left side, the movies Terminator, or the our famous movie Rajnikant's Robo Enthiran, right? So what it happened in this movie, so Vasiharan had created Chitti Robo. Chitti Robo could able to mimic like Vasiharan. So artificial intelligence is exactly like a Chitti Robo. You're making a machine to mimic like a human, to behave like a human, to think like a human, to do all the tasks what human could able to do it. So today as a human, I could able to text, I could able to write, I could able to draw, I could able to code, I could able to make a audio, video, everything a human can able to do it. Now, if you make a powerful AI device, the artificial intelligence model, so that could able to do everything. It could able to make a text, audio, images, videos, code, why not everything. So that's what I wanted to put this slide. That is considered as a strong AI and weak AI. So something added a bot, Gemini, ChatGPT, chatbot, Alexa, Google, Google Voice or YouTube or Netflix when you search something. So those are a weak AI. When I say weak AI, that is specific to a particular task. So if you go with Amazon or Flipkart, any e-commerce site, you could able to see based on your past purchase, you will get a recommendation. So that system is using the recommendation system algorithm to give a recommendation. Relatively, you can go for it. And also, if you give a ratings, if you log into an e-commerce site, you could see that there is a summarization is getting added. So those applications are created for a specific use cases, not to do every task. So that's why we'll classify a strong AI and weak AI in a practical way. Now, just to have a little understanding to have what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, what is deep learning and neural networks before we get into a generative AI. Because the term generative AI and the way we consume the AI today is new, but it is not completely new for us. So we had been using AI for a long time, say like a Google Map or weather prediction, or if you watch a OTT any series on a online any OTT site, you will get a recommendation. And these all, I mean, if you search something on a internet, you will get a relative ads on your social media. So that mean to say this recommendation system, this prediction, this classification, yeah, your spam filter at your email inbox also one of the best example. If any spam email comes in, it has a ability to identify is it a spam or a good email, and it will put according to the folder. So we had been using AI for a long time, but what is new here is the generative AI is new. So how this generative AI is new from yesterday? That is the idea you need to understand. Now let's have a quick discussion or we little recall what we have studied, in your engineering or in your school or online courses, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and neural networks. For me, if you ask me what is artificial intelligence, as I explained before, AI is making a machine to mimic like a human, or AI is to make machine to behave like a human and making machine to do all the tasks you do. And to achieve the ability of machine to do certain task, you need to train a machine. To train a machine, you need a learning. When I say train a machine, how we got trained as a human, we used to go to school, we used to go to college, we used to go to work, and we used to work, study, then we develop our knowledge, then we reflect back to the society. Similar way, if you wanted to make a computer or model to behave like you need to train the model. To train the model, of course, you need a machine learning and deep learning. So here, I'll take analogy of physics because most of the time people used to get confused about machine learning and deep learning. So I always remembered with this analogy. So physics is a discipline which has been standardly defined. This is a gravity. If you fell something, it will fall down. That is a gravity. So this is where the physics works. Now to understand physics, you may use the basic formulas like E is equal to mc squared or Newton's third law or any basic formulas. Those are like a machine learning. You need a huge data and certain algorithms. So machine could able to learn from the data, understand the pattern and understand the label whatever you provided. It could able to respond back to you or predict output. That is a machine learning. Deep learning, if you go, same physics, same discipline, but rather than using basic formulas, you will be using the quantum physics, very advanced physics to derive some output. Exactly in the artificial intelligence, to make a model or a computer to become an artificial intelligence enabled model. So you'll be applying a machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is pretty traditional or not that much powerful like deep learning to handle the huge data and huge complexity. Whereas in the deep learning, like a quantum physics I explained, which will works on neural networks. So neural networks are nothing but like similar to our human brains. It has the ability to think and understand the pattern and narrate the logic. So that way, the deep learning and machine learning will help you to train the model. So we could able to summarize that machine performing thinking like a human is artificial intelligence. To make that happen, we have two methodologies, that machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning does based on input and output what you provide. Deep learning, no, not necessarily you need to give input output, not necessarily you need to give a labeled data or a data set. You just give a huge data. It has the ability to understand by using neural networks, understand the logic, understand the pattern. It responds accordingly. Now, why we are studying this artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning? To answer that question, this is a pretty easy for us to understand. Earlier, when you wanted to interact with a computer, basically you go and type a program so that computer can understand. So computer understand the program which is at zeros and one. So you write some program Unix or a C or Python, it understands. Later, we started using image recognition, looking at the computer, showing the image, hey, this is cat, this is dog, you understand. Now, with the power of this generative AI, you're not going to do a program, you're not going to give a image with a label. Rather, you're giving a huge data. You're giving a huge data like a books, giving to the computer. Now, computer reads everything. It understands and it reads the logic that what is cat, what is dog, and what is a pattern. How do I differentiate? This is what the large language model, or this is what the foundation model, what we are enabling with the generative AI today. This one picture or one slide will give you the clarity from where to here how we are interacting with the computer, starting from a traditional program to the neural networks and predictive AI to today's the large language model. Then I have put one more slide deck here to understand where this generative AI fits in. Artificial intelligence, then machine learning, deep learning. Inside deep learning, the generative AI fits in. Generative AI, we know the name is self-explanatory. So which has the ability to generate a text or image or audio or video, code, anything what human would able to do that. But before generative AI, the predictive AIs already exist. So predictive AI, what I was explaining about the weather prediction or a Google map to find out the time going to consume to reach the destination, and also the recommendation systems or a sentiment analysis, spam filter detection. Those are completely predictive AI which exist. We've been using day to day. Generative AI After these AA based bot and after these open source and the cloud based model becoming so popular today, all the people are making applications with respect to AI. So now the generative AI has the two powerful components: the natural language understanding, very powerful, and it has the ability to generate the content. So this is what the generative AI. So traditional AI, which already exists, that is a predictive AI, mainly works on classification and prediction. The classification, I given the best example, the spam filter on your email box. And like prediction, I given the example, the weather prediction or the time going to take to reach back home on a Google map. That will be a prediction example. Now generative AI, not necessarily you need to give an input and output with a label. You just given the old data from the pattern what it understands from the old data. Now if you go and ask any task, it has the ability to create the content, text to text or a text to image or a text to video, what you are seeing at a screen now. Now, the other buzzwords, the generative AI, predictive AI, foundation model. So foundation model is nothing but giving a huge data to a model, the massive amount of data. It understands the pattern, it understands the relation using a transformer model or any model, birth, if you take it as example. So those are the large language model. We will call it as, and then it could able to generate all the outputs. So why this large language model I'm emphasizing here? Because in our industry use case, the transforming the contact center or automating the contact center or supercharging the contact center, we are basically using the large language model, which is part of a generative AI. Just to summarize what we discussed in a technical deep dive into generative AI, we started with the uh, the example of predictive AI, the classification and prediction, the blue box and the yellow box, what you say, which already exist. And the generative AI today, which has a super powerful understanding, you no need to talk to a computer like you talking, programming way or a neural network way. You just talk to a computer in a natural language, how you talk to your friend. That's what people used to phrase as English is becoming new programming language. By using few prompts, the prompt engineering, which is also becoming so popular today, you can interact with the computer. So computer can easily understand from your own natural language. It extracts the intent. It understands the meaning. It responds back accordingly. That is what the main feature, the understanding. And the generation, as we explained, it has the ability to generate all the types of content, be with the text or image or video or code, any content. So that's a way we could differentiate the predictive AI to a generative AI. The predictive AI examples are the weather prediction, the map, how it works, the Google Map, or spam email detection. Those are the predictive AI or classification AI examples. Generative AI, the today's the AI based bot or open source model what we use to generate the content. So those are for a generative AI. Now, predictive AI is fine, generative AI is fine. How do I consume a generative AI? That is a question, right? Because generative AI, yeah, it is a part of a deep learning. So it is getting trained on a big foundation model. It can be a large language model or it can be a multi-model. But where these models are located, how do I train them? And what are the inputs for the model to get trained? Because I have a computer, I wanted to give an input to make the computer to learn and respond back. To understand that, we should have a logic about the generative AI. I'll go to this example. So this will be super self-explanatory. How the large language model or the foundation model is getting trained. And so the right side picture you could see a clip from Rajinikanth's same Robo movie. Chitti Robo used to read all the books like this, and it understand all the contents. And if you ask any question, it will respond back to you. So the data are from a book, what it learned in a moment. Similarly, any foundation model or a large language model, if you are developing, The inputs data are not a synthetic or not an imaginary one. So those are available all over the internet. So that can be a text or an image or a speech. Data can be in any format. It can be a structured or unstructured, which will be fed as a training data set to the foundation model. Once it trains, once it understand the pattern, understand the logic, now it could able to create any output based on the query or based on the prompt you provide to a generative AI or a foundation model. Now, in the previous diagram, now we understand we have a foundation model in the middle. To train the foundation model, we need a huge data. Huge data is available in the internet. Data is ready, the model is ready. How do we train it? We need definitely need an infrastructure, right? Say like if you wanted to develop a mobile app, or if you wanted to develop a like a website, definitely what you need here, you need to have a front end, back end. You need to deploy your code to a server. Accordingly, it will develop your site for you, right? Same like when you have a huge data set, wanted to train a model, you need an infrastructure. So that infrastructure is something what we get from a cloud. To understand that, this is a very basic we need to understand. So that I just put the image. You might be recalling that image is from Coco Melon, where the kindergarten kids used to learn ABC, right? So I'll just pause for a moment and just have a look and see artificial intelligence, big data, and cloud computing. What could be the relation? I put the statement A is equal to B plus C, very basic foundation for artificial intelligence. It can be applicable for any AI model or any algorithm what you develop, be with the predictive model or be with the generative model. So if you wanted to develop an artificial intelligence model, you need two inputs. One is the big data, that is the input. Actually, cloud computing is not an input. Cloud computing is the infrastructure where you feed the big data and make the computer to learn the things from the data what you train, what you given. Why? Because we are going to cloud computing. I'll come to that part. Is the powerful, the availability of the cloud computing? What are the resources available at cloud computing? We go with that. So always remember any generative AI application, if you go with that, this ABC is a foundation. Artificial intelligence, big data, and cloud computing. The question would be, I'm saying about big data. Why big data? The data size used to be like a lemon previously, then it became a cricket ball. Now it become kind of a football. And we expected in couple of decades, the football size of data going to be become like a football ground. So that's the way the data is getting increased. You and me, every day we are consuming and generating a data. And if I ask the question, how much data we generate every day, think for a moment and just see. You may think like we know the data size is always in a KB, kilobytes, or a megabytes, or a gigabytes, at least a terabytes. We used to have a hard disk and memory from a cloud storages, right? But now when you go with this data from a WHO, I mean, from a VFORM, per day, we could be able to generate the 463 exabytes of data. These data are from your Twitter handle or email or WhatsApp or whatever you use, a social media or a browsing internet. These are so 1 billion gigabyte. 1 exabyte is equal to 1 billion gigabyte. So 1 million terabyte. 1 million is 10 lakh terabyte. Just think 1 million is 10 lakh terabyte, and 463 exabyte we are actually making per day. So that's a reason we're going to go with the cloud computing, because when the data is huge, when the data is large in size, we cannot use it into your local computer or a server. Then you need a huge infrastructure. So if you take as your personal computer, your hardware utilization will be 10-20 percentage, but you cannot consume. It's a pre-cloud. It is like owning your car, having your own computer and developing a model. Rather, any cloud, be the Google or any public cloud provider, if you go, your hardware utilization will be 98 percentage. Rather than owning a car, it's like hiring a cab and putting your data, training a model, and pay for the usage, pay for the subscription. So that is the way the cloud is making your artificial intelligence model to get developed very easy. So if you wanted to upskill yourself, now you may get an idea or logic. You AI is becoming so hot, AI is becoming so popularity. You are entering into a AI revolution. But where the opportunities lies in, it's not only about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it will work with a combination of other two components. One is the big data, other one is the cloud computing. So big data, where you do all the data engineering, all your data analyst and the data scientist jobs, where you take a data, process the data, apply EDL, clean the data, data pre-processing, everything with the data you do with the big data. And cloud computing, where you have an infrastructure, so that can be an infrastructure like this is kind of a sample infrastructure I place. And cloud TPU v2 pod, this is like 1 lakh time powerful than the CPU what we have it our high-end laptop or high-end computer what we have it for a gaming purpose. 1 lakh time powerful than the laptop what we use it today. So that is the way the cloud is providing resources. So now you may get the logic. When you wanted to upskill yourself or develop something on artificial intelligence based solution, you need to have a good understanding about the data. You need to handle the data very effectively. And also, when the size is more, you need an infrastructure from the cloud computing. This is the relation between ABC, very foundation and important for that. Now, how this cloud and I'm saying about the data and how it is relevant for me as a student or as a faculty, how it is important. I'm not a cloud engineer. I'm not a cloud expert. I'm not a machine learning engineer. So something like my expertise is falls in the different category. I'm not a machine learning engineer, whereas other person says, yeah, my core expertise in machine learning. So this cloud computing combining these and making AAs democratized to everybody. All the cloud platform, if you go, any cloud providers, they have classified the categories like this way. What I'm just showing in the slide. This is the cloud AI portfolio from a Google or a GCP cloud. So we have a cloud infrastructure at the bottom. Then you have a infrastructure as a service. We will call it as a Vertex AI, where the AI practitioner, the machine learning engineers, or a data scientist, those can develop a model. Just above the green layer, if you say the platform as a service, so which is generative AI app builder. So there, not necessarily you need to have a machine learning expertise to develop a model. Any developers, those who know how to write a basic code, they can be able to develop a model. They can be able to develop application like a conversational AI or a foundation model API customization or an enterprise search. The top one is the software as a service. You not necessarily to be a AI practitioner or a machine learning engineer or a developer. You just know the business. Say like you are leading a department, you are the head of the business unit or a department. You know the use case. You wanted to develop something. Not necessarily you need to go and develop a model, or not necessarily you need to go and do some customization with respect to your code. For that also, the cloud is providing an offer called just a go and unpack it and use it, just doing an API integration. There is a contact center AI, document AI, discovery AI, healthcare AI. Our use case falls under the first category, contact center AI. All right. Now, I'll give a pause and I'll just revise what we discussed on the cloud AI portfolio. We started with the ABC triangle. If you wanted to have an artificial intelligence device or a model developed, you need to have a strong big data and strong cloud computing. The answer would be A is equal to B plus C. If you want to develop artificial intelligence, you need to have a big data and cloud computing. Now, this cloud is democratizing the AI and it is making AI become reachable to everybody. A person who wanted to develop a model, a person who wanted to explore something in the artificial intelligence way in a world, not necessarily he should be a AI practitioner or a developer or just anybody can use it. With respect to their expertise, with respect to their skill set, they had classified or they are offering the multiple layers in the cloud AI. This is the cloud AI portfolio. So we picked one category or one product called contact center AI. So this contact center AI, as we know the initial slide we had discussed, this is our objective for the whole discussion. And I'll just show you that objective here. This is our objective. From there to here by using the generative AI. From that bad experience by interacting with the customer care, how we are making our experience happy, and also experience from the human agent be happy. For that, I'll go with the call center. This is the way typical call center works. Any call center, and if you call, the number one is a customer who calls the call center. It goes to the agent. Agent as a supervisor. The pain point here is you may not get the proper response what you are looking for. At times, agents also not sufficient to answer or handle the calls. So supervisor has to pitch in every time, or supervisor has to closely monitor the call, or the supervisor has to purge in the calls and understand what is happening. So these are the real-time challenges. It's not only about one person. It is going to impact the experience for all these stakeholders, all three characters. Listen carefully here. See, I purposefully mentioned these three numbers. One is the customer. Second one is the human agent, the call center agent who sits in call center. So third one is a supervisor or the business user or the business leaders. These three people are core pillars, are the important stakeholders of any call center, right? Now, what we going to do it here with the power of generative AI, with the power of the large language model, we're going to make life easy for all three stakeholders, all three pillars: customer, agent, and supervisor. How do we do that? For that only, we're going to deep dive into this solution. CCAI is Contact Center AI solution. So, Contact Center AI solution falls under the business user category. Not necessarily you need to go and develop a model from foundation. The model has been developed, pre-trained, and it has been customized for this use case. What we need to do it here, consume the model for the contact center. For like we may consider one example from a telco provider in India. You may use one telco provider, I may use a different telco provider. We take one example of a telco provider. They have a call center. They wanted to automate the call center, or they want to transform the call center. Then what they need to do here, they need to integrate the call center to a cloud over a API or over a integration. The cloud, what we have a pre-trained model. So on top of a pre-trained model, what we going to do it here, we'll take your old data. So what was your previous interaction, what was a sentiment, what was a customer experience. Based on all the data, we just customize the model. We just customize and make the model available for your use case. And here the stakeholders are the end customer. Second one is a human agent. The third one is the business lead, as we discuss in three stakeholders. Right now, first, we offer a solution of different varieties. One is called a virtual agent, one is called agent assist, one is called insight. The reason behind why I'm saying three solutions or three features here. First one is a virtual agent, is a virtual bot. It can be a chat bot or it can be a voice bot. If you call a number, a bot will talk to you. So if you make a bot, generative AI based bot, which could able to handle the customer effectively, then first step itself, you could able to make the end customer very happy, so that you can induce the generative AI into the bot, not like a earlier days static algorithm based bot. Rather than making that old bot, you can make a generative AI bot which could able to handle the customer interaction very effectively. If we unable to find any answer, it knows the logic to escalate to a human agent, or it has a configuration to check something in the backend system by calling some APIs, by calling some webhooks, by calling some integrations. That's the first step. Second step, the second solution what we offer here is called it as a agent assist. So agent assist, the human agent who is talking to a customer, like say like you calling a customer care, the bot handled and then call translated or escalated to a human agent. Now, we will add a certain methodologies to a the foundation model, which can instead assist the human agent to serve better. So bringing when the interaction is happening, the virtual bot will silently listen the conversation. Based on the interaction, it will just bring the assisting material to the human agent screen. See, like I am a human agent, you are calling me. Based on our interaction, the bot on my system will bring all the supporting documents, will bring all your history, will bring all your offers, everything on my screen. So which makes my life easy. I can be like a super agent for a interaction. Then customer, when he talks to me, then you feel like, okay, fine, I'm talking to a very experienced, very super agent. He could able to solve all my question. So that way the generative AI can upskill or supercharge the human agent. So the third part will be the supervisor. Per day we are getting thousands of calls, and what kind of a calls are coming in, what is the customer experience, where the business is going further, are we lagging or the customer is expecting certain features to be developed. Based on the reviews you can extract the data. Based on the interaction you can extract the sentiment analysis, you can build a topic modeling, you can create a dashboard which can give a business insight to develop a further step to increase the revenue or market growth. Anything can be doable. So now let me repeat. In a yesterday's contact center, these are the three stakeholders. One is end customer, like you and me. Second one is the agent who is talking from a call center. So third one is the business leader. The solution what we provide or offer from a generative AI perspective going to serve for all these three stakeholders. The way we interact with the customer with a bot, it is going to make a happy customer. Next, when you enhance the generative AI with the agent assist, it is going to make your agent as a super agent. The last one is the supervisor's life also becoming so easy. So to do that, so Dialogflow is one of the generative AI front-end tool where you create a visual programming. So visual programming is nothing but putting a like a flow chart to understand the interactions. This way we can define it. This way it looks like. So you can define like how the conversation has to go and how it interacts, the conversation code, the user interface, and the API integration, the telephony or a chat connector. The customer can be form of anything, right? You can do a chat or you can call a customer care. Whatever the way you do, you should have an initial bot to handle the interaction. Then the bot backend, you should have a generators, you have a generative fallback, you have a generative AI enabled features, so that the bot is acting like a super bot and it answers all your queries. If in case it's stuck somewhere, it will smoothly transfer the call to a human agent, and also by the time it understand all the interaction, it makes a summary, it makes your sentiment analysis, pass that information to a human agent, so that human agent doesn't want to repeat the same question. He can understand at the glance what is happening with the interaction, he can answer you better. And also the same time, once it transfer the call to human agent also, it will stay on a call, it will assist the human agent for each and every interaction, taking a document on the background and giving to them. So this is the way it gonna completely revolutionize or completely supercharge the conversational AI or a contact center. The stakeholder one, so virtual agent which makes the end customer life very easy. All your online interaction is becoming a conversation now, a smooth handoff to the human agent with the call summary, the sentiment analysis, everything. And also the bot what you're going to develop, this is completely a generative AI bot. You are, as a developer, you no need to spend more time, you just give a input data in any format, can be Excel or can be a PDF or a video file, any data file you can give. The foundation model can extract the data, train its own. Then step number two, I mean, the second stakeholder is a human agent. When you enable the generative AI over there, it will empower the live agent with all the additional features like a smart replay or generative, the knowledge article suggestions. Rather than it goes from a reactive way of supporting, it always go from a proactive way of supporting, so that your end customer also become happy, and also as an employer, as an agent, I'll also become happy. The last one is the insight. So insights create a complete insightful on the dashboard to understand what is happening in the business, what is happening in the call center. So now everybody is happy. So from a the bad experience from an end customer to a human agent to a business owner, now with the power of generative AI, everybody could able to serve in a better way. And the good part here is we could able to achieve all these things with a minimal effort. And these are all for my session. So I'll just quickly give a glance what we discussed. The topic was transforming a contact center with using generative AI. Transforming contact center, yeah, we know the real challenge with the contact center, not a happy customer, not a happy agent. Our end goal is happy customer and happy agent. To make the change happen, you need to have a generative AI in between. So before we go to a generative AI, we discussed about what is AI and what is the generative AI impact is going to happen in the business, the revenue growth and the automation side and the hyper cycle. So all we discussed, the industry revolution, what is happening around. Then we did a little deep dive into a generative AI, deep learning, machine learning, where this foundation model, where these predictive AI and the generative AI fits in. We discussed about four main points. Traditional AI takes care of classification and prediction. Generative AI takes care of powerful understanding and generation. Then we did a deep dive into a foundation ABC triangle. Artificial intelligence is equal to big data plus cloud computing. Big data, it's very important. The input data can be in any format. Cloud computing, why it is important, we discussed. In the cloud computing, we have a TPUs where you can train a model. And now cloud providers are making the AI is becoming reachable to everybody. We have different layers. With respect to our expertise, we can consume and we can develop our own model. Or we can take a pre-trained model and put our data and make it use for our industry use case. We picked one industry use case, the call center industry. The challenge here was three people, three stakeholders, the end customer, then the actual human agent, last one is the business owner. To make these three stakeholders happy, so we had a solution from a generative AI. For a customer, we could be able to create a Gen AI bot. Then for an agent, we could integrate and the AI, on the background can assist agent to make you like a super agent to the end user. Same like after every conversation, your AI bot is observing the conversation. It makes a summary, it makes the insights, it makes the FAQ documents, it makes a sentiment analysis, it will give a business insight. You will get all the information what you need. This is the way you can supercharge or transform the contact center with the generative AI. And I'll share you my deck to everybody. So it has some reference material. Those are free to access. If you are interested to know more about generative AI with some hands-on lab, and feel free to go and play around. I'll stop it here. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Well, I request any viewers, you can post your queries in the chat box, and sir will be posting his answers or he will be explaining it. Okay. Thank you, sir. We found there were no queries. Thank you very much for this valuable and very noteworthy information about the generative AI. And now I request our respected professor, Department of CSC, Dr. M. Vigilson Prem, sir, to render the vote of thanks. Sir.
Beginning to one under present here, and let me take this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks for this session. First of all, I would like to thank our today's resource person, Kumaresan, from Google. Actually, sir, it was a very useful, informative session. Especially, I hope all the viewers from those who joined through YouTube channel definitely would have gained some knowledge about this topic, which is latest and very hot topic. So during this holiday Sunday morning, spending your time with our students as well as faculty. So on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering and RMK College of Engineering Technology, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Also, I'd like to thank our principal, Dr. K. Ramar, and research dean, Dr. K. Sivaram, and especially our head of the department who was behind the arrangement, behind the screen of all these arrangements. Thank you, madam. And I would like to thank the organizers of this program. Also the person who is communicating and coordinating all this program. I would like to thank all the faculty members who joined throughout the session. Particularly, I would like to thank all the student community, those who joined in this session, and hope they would have had a very useful and informative. Thank you, and all present. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
the great opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Kumaresan, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Recording
Thank-
stopped.
Yeah, you can end the meeting. I'll share the presentation. You can circulate to the needy if they want. They can refer and they can ask any question offline also if they have.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.